The State of the People Power Tour is a nationwide call to action, a movement to rally, restore, and reimagine what's possible for Black communities across the U.S. It's a people powered campaign rooted in service, solidarity, and strategic action. The tour is aimed at activating a grassroots movement that applies and amplifies Black voices, demands systematic change, and advances a national collective Black agenda rooted in justice and liberation, building toward the State of the People International Assembly, which will take place on Juneteenth. The tour exists at the intersection of healing, resistance, and mobilization, recognizing both the urgency and power of a collected voice. And the State of the People Power Tour is coming to Symphony Hall in Newark on May 13th. Joining us today to talk all about that stop in the State of the People Power Tour, Lisa Durden, national TV contributor, award-winning filmmaker. Great to see you, Lisa.
Hello.
Jai Devon is a journalist and the president and CEO of Jai Devon Entertainment. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Douglas. Great to be here.
Dorian Murray Thomas, Essex County Commissioner and founder and CEO of She Wins, Inc., an organization that offers a free leadership and social action program for middle and high school girls who have been affected by violence in Newark. County Commissioner, great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And Desiree Peterkin Bell, the award-winning political branding and communications strategist and author. Thanks for joining us today, Desiree.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
So, what's interesting about this tour is the fact that each individual city stop is really a local-based community effort. And each city brings something different to the table, and thus we're talking about Newark today. Lisa, I know that you're going to be holding a special panel discussion coming up on the 13th, and it's about arts and it's about what's going on in the community. You want to talk about your special panel discussion that you'll be having on the 13th?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so glad that Desiree Peterkin Bell contacted me to curate this panel. And, when we started talking about, this tour, the State of the People Power Tour, a lot of folks said, why Newark? I said, why not Newark? Because Newark has been leading movements forever. We are the Renaissance city. We are Brick City. We're tough and strong. So that's why I think this tour is perfect here in the city of Newark. And so I curated a panel with some dynamic individuals who use their art as activism. So I named the panel Art is Activism. We have my son, he's a rapper and activist. We have Mia X from Newark. She's a poet and a poet laureate and a poet. And she works for an organization that said, and we want to lend our commitment to you, the Clinton Hill Community Action, which they use action for activation. So they're also a partnership because she works with them as well. And Fayemi Shakur, she's the director of the City of Newark's Arts and Cultural Affairs. So of course they make sure that artists get funding for their art to now use their art to amplify the voices of the people. And Desiree Hadley will also be on the panel as well. She's going to round it out as well, because she's representing the city of Newark as well from the film and TV side, because I'm a filmmaker, got to have some filmmakers on the panel. And so she does a great job. And Suleiman Ankwe, he's the Olympic artist. He's a muralist. He's the founder of Three the Art Way, where the whole family are artists. So when you're looking at art as activism, we're talking about how individuals who are in the world of arts from A to Z use their voice to amplify things through their activism, through their art, because everybody's not going to march in the streets and pump their fists. There's other ways to do it. So I think that this panel is going to kind of like point that out. And we're going to leave with some gems, and we're going to leave with some steps to take toward, the things we can do versus in this climate thinking about the things we can't do. So that's what this panel is going to be all about.
Desiree Peterkin Bell, when people show up to Newark Symphony Hall on the 13th, what can they expect?
So first, I want to say that I fully agree that Newark is the stop that makes the most sense for the East Coast. And just to share a little bit about where the tour has gone thus far, it started in Atlanta. It has gone to Birmingham and New Orleans, and then it will continue after Newark on May 13th to cities like Detroit, Mississippi, Richmond, and LA. And so what people can expect for the stop in the city of Newark is a focus on community building, is a focus on everyday people, educators, activists, and artists who are coming together to decide to be part of a much larger movement of making our own solutions. This is about us. This is for us. And this programming has us at the center. And so this is extremely important for folks to come out. If you have not RSVP, please go to stateoftheppl.com to make sure that you are up to date with what is going to happen in the city of Newark. We have folks who are going to be talking about Social Security and Medicare. Where do we go from here, given the infrastructure that exists or that does not exist? We're going to talk about financial empowerment. We're also going to talk about people who are impacted through the justice system and where and how they can coordinate and collaborate in communities, not just in Newark, but also along the whole East Coast. So we're very excited to have folks come together at the iconic Newark Symphony Hall on May 13th. Everything starts at 9 a.m. So we're starting with some collective action from 9 to 10. Our panels start between 10:15 and 11:15. At about 1:30, folks can go and get their box lunches. And then we go into a town hall where community members will connect and converse with each other and build solutions. And then we go into a collective action, and we're going to actually either plant or make sure that folks across the city have what they need to eat. And then we go right into our rally, which is going to be nothing but an action-packed, fun day where we are lifting up our voices. And so we're very excited. I tell people to please come out. This is about us. It's for us. And we are centrally focused on our solutions. And so I'm so excited that Newark is part of this tour. Like I said, we're the only East Coast city right now, and it's all about Brick City on May 13th.
And don't forget, free is a good price. It's free. So register. I just want to throw that out there. Free is a good price.
Yes.
Jai, I have to ask you about the key word, I believe, that Desiree just mentioned, solutions, right? Everyone can talk about problems, but
Yeah.
solutions are what we need to hear about. What are some of the solutions you'd like to talk about and express during this stop?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. I think that that is the power of this tour is that we are not just coming, i.e. the rally or the workshop, to talk at people.
Right.
We're at this experience to co-collaborate, and something that has been mentioned is that we're bringing this national presence to the city to raise awareness, to bring attention to the needs of the city. So first things first is we're coming to be an open ear. We are a guest in your home. Every city that this tour has gone on, we are a guest in your home and in your city. So we're here to listen to the people, to hear what the needs are. And our team has worked extemporaneously hard to filter and find out what the needs are specific to Newark, New Jersey. And so we have, for example, at the rally, we have Sharia J, who's going to be performing, Newark's very own. She's going to be performing. She's doing a set. She's also going to be doing some spoken piece on empowerment, but it's
Right.
not going to stop at the performance. A lot of rallies and a lot of experiences have the hoopla. She's also going to be tabling at this rally with her consulting firm, a lot that's postured and directed towards youth and young people, artist development. That's a need in Newark that we've heard time and time again, that Newark gets overshadowed
Yep.
by New York
Yep.
City. And so we're
Yep.
coming in here to infiltrate the system. And to Desiree's point and to Lisa's
Yep.
point, we need the people. We need to hear what you have to say. This is not, we're coming to lecture you. We are co-collaborating, we are co-creating, and we are building together in this experience. And people are going to be able to take away real life, real time, practical solutions to what their need is. And so I'm really excited about that key component to the tour.
And
That's
the key word from you here was youth. And
Yep.
Adorian Murray Thomas, since you were very young, you've always been on a mission to help others. Tell us about this tour and what it means to you.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm just so grateful to be a part of the mix, and I give such gratitude to my friend and fellow Swarthmorian, Desiree, for looping me
oh,
in.
Swarthmore. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Um, And I mean, you're absolutely right, Doug. You can't talk about, frankly, any movement where the people have won in this country, and you could really extend that beyond just to the globe. And young people and young adults and movers and shakers weren't somehow, some way in the fold. And Newark is no different. You know, our own very mayor, one of the most innovative progressive mayors in the country, got his start as a teenager writing poetry in the South Side, and who went to Howard and started the Nia Force, and with the Nia Force came back here, ran for office several times, didn't win. They didn't let him in, right? But he kept building, kept cultivating with people, and has created generations and cadres of young leaders, educators, and artists in the city of Newark. And so, what I love about this particular iteration of the City of the People Tour in Newark is that it is youth and intergenerational focus, because we
Yes.
know that we win when all of us are in
Yes.
the table. At the table, when the elders, when the young, and the mezcla of it all
Yes.
are building together. And so I'm excited to be a part of that young people, young adult cadre in the fold for next week, for the town hall, for the rally. We've got youth voices, young voices, all of them being present, because we know that our young people are not the problem. They are the solution. And
Yep.
frankly, they're also co-creating the solutions as we speak.
Yes.
You know, on TikTok and Instagram, and democratizing, as they say, information, and taking syllabus from colleges and making it free to everybody, right? Our young people are so innovative, and they're thinking about these issues. I am passionate as a young elected official myself of bringing that work into the fold. And I know that that's so central to the ethic of this tour in Newark.
County Commissioner, I'm curious too, since you work so much with youth, we have always talked about the old Newark, right? Those who have been here take great pride in the fact that they know the history of Newark.
Mhm.
How is the meshing going on between young people and old Newark going on?
I feel that it's far more enmeshed and co-collaborative than what the narrative may suggest. I mean, you think about organizations like the Youth Media Symposium, founded by Junius Williams, but that is ran by young people, young adults today. I'm thinking of, you know, Israel and Jennifer and folks who came up under Junius and Miss Kalina's tutelage, who led the walkouts, you know, in 2014, because we needed just schools and we needed superintendents that listened to us. And today, those people who my peers, right, who led those walkouts, are now educators and organizers in the city today, and they're doing it in the fold and in the tutelage with other young and elder leaders. I think about my own church. I grew up at St. James AME Church. I'm a member of Bethany Baptist Church, both churches where you see elders and young people and young adults working together. Shout out to my pastor, Reverend Dr. Timothy Atkins Jones, who ensures that the social liberation work that happens in Newark is happening across ages, and even interfaith too. So yeah, I think that there's a lot more enmeshment. There's a lot of listening happening on both sides. I think a lot of our more seasoned folks are listening to our younger. Our younger are listening to our elders too. Is there always room to improve? Absolutely. And that's why this tour is so important, because we're bringing all of them to the fold in the same room, and making sure that we co-collaborate and co-build together, because there's a lot that Newark can learn from what's happening in Atlanta, in Detroit, and in all these other places. And there's a lot that they can learn from us too. And so what does it look like when we have us all in the same room? Change happens. And that's what we're going to continue to catalyze next week.
Isn't it interesting that when you talk about Newark, music, church,
Yes.
politics, history,
Yes.
all come together in this meshing
And
that you're talking about?
film is huge.
Hmm.
Yes.
The arts and entertainment go
Absolutely.
without saying. You know, we were just
Correct.
talking the other day about all the great artists from Newark, and Junice Williams was talking about his upcoming project that deals with all the famous people.
Yeah.
Diane, I wanted to ask you about the fact that this tour is going on post-election, right? So it's not during election time. How important is that to make sure that people early on are learning what some of the issues that they need to be addressing right now?
I think that is so important.
Yeah.
Post-election, I feel as though the election is now over. It's done. We're set in stone. We see what's going on. I think the transition point was, what are we fighting against? fighting to make our rights? What is being stripped away from us? What understanding what's happening in the zeitgeist is important. And there's a scripture that says people perish for the lack of knowledge. And so the inverse of that is with knowledge, people flourish. And so we're trying to get people to understand the nuances and break down what's happening in the ethos so that they are making educated decisions. I fear that a lot of times the people will politic on why the reasons are, who won, and what happened, but not having knowledge, not having insight, ignorance, sitting out, not participating, not getting active, all of those variables collectively, I believe, paid homage, so to speak, in that direction. However, coming to this experience, coming to this tour, as I mentioned earlier, people are going to be able to receive that practical information and be able to have in real time dialogue, ask questions. A lot of times people are scared to ask questions. We are creating a safe space for people to say, hey, I heard ranked choice voting. What does that even mean? I heard that homelessness is on the rise. How can I help? So we're coming and collaborating together so that we can even hear the need. Sometimes the need doesn't reach up the stratosphere. And so we're trying to understand what is that need so
Yes.
we can tackle it head on.
Yes.
That's true.
Dorian Murray Thomas is one of these. When we talk about
Mhm.
women in politics,
Mm-hmm.
Newark is famous for
Yep.
having leadership when it comes to women in politics. Desiree Peterkin Bell,
Yes.
what is it about Newark? What is it about New Jersey that brings out the best on the political side from women?
I think it's a few things. I think we have a history of uh, having strong women who are not afraid to not only voice their opinions and be who they are, but have been the fabric of change and uh, revolution in the city and in the state. I think about just my time personally when I was a appointed official in the city of Newark many moons ago, working for Mayor Cory Booker, the late Mildred Crump, who was a personal a friend, but also taught me the ropes, literally about Newark politics, or Lieutenant Sheila Oliver, Governor Oliver, who also represented so much for so many young, and I'll say Black women who were in powerful positions of their own throughout the entire state. And so I think specifically in New Jersey, there's an ecosystem here of sisterhood. There's an ecosystem of and a movement of Black women who support one another, whether it's in politics or whether it's in film or whether it's in media or whether it's in activism or whether it's even in the classroom. That is just kind of who we are, I think, in New Jersey and specifically who Newark has been. And so I think the tour coming to the city of Newark just really highlights that Newark has always been on the forefront of shaping kind of any national conversation. So when we talk about sisterhood or when we talk about civil rights and policing, it's a thriving cultural Renaissance city. And it's a testament to the unbreakable spirit of its people. It's also a city where powerful voices have always risen, whether through the beats of Brick City hip hop and the brushstrokes of legendary muralists, or the sharp cadence of a spoken word, or the searing prose that captures our collective truth. Newark doesn't just tell the story of survival, right? It embodies all the ongoing fight for transformation and liberation. And so for me, it really just summarizes the power that we always knew that was within. It's all eyes on Newark. It's all eyes on what May 13th is going to be, which is collective activism and coalition building. And I love the fact that it is also being led with not just by Black women, but with our brothers and sisters as well.
And I want
Absolutely.
to add to this, Desiree did a good job making sure she galvanized that and Desiree can speak to that, because she's on the national comms team. This is a national tour around the country, and she took very seriously the power of the Newark voice here in this tour. So when she decided to make those calls and ask people for their help, she made sure she included women of note, women of power, women who've been in the movement who have not had, some who have had their voices amplified and some who have not. She doesn't run around thinking, oh, only the national leaders are going to be amplified. She brought people together, of course, intergenerationally as well. So I don't know if you take over the question, but can you talk about when you were in those meetings before the launch? What was your plan to make sure you did include women, and particularly women from Newark, New Jersey, who was already on the ground? Because a lot of times we don't get tapped on, right?
Yeah,
Men do.
100%.
Talk about
100%. So I'll use an example, which is some of you guys remember Brick City, the documentary?
Yes. Oh,
From many moons ago.
500 years ago.
Moons ago. Right. Exactly. Lisa was one of the producers on that documentary. But so I always say what's extremely important is any kind of national movement, grateful to be a part of. But I think what is core to the State of the People movement, State of the People Power Tour movement, is not the idea, but it's the desire and the need to include what is happening on the ground level already, right? And to amplify that through national channels. And so what was really important, not just to me, but also to the entire national team, folks who I work very closely with, Tamika Mallory, Angela Rye, and a whole host of other folks, was to highlight what is already happening on the ground, because sometimes what's happening on the ground, folks don't get, the front page papers. Folks don't get the interviews. Folks don't get, to be on TV, and they're still doing the work. And so, my desire and hope, wish, and dream is to make sure that those folks who are continuing to do the work, some of the folks on this call right now, right, and on this Zoom, are highlighted and amplified in that way. So folks know not only is the work being done, but we have been in the trenches. We have been doing the work.
I love that.
It's only going to continue and go up from there.
I love that.
The media landscape is very difficult to go through right now. People are not sure what outlets they should be following online, whether it be streaming, whether it be on television, whether it be radio, whatnot. Lisa, what's your advice to people? Because as Desiree just mentioned, some voices are not being heard.
Correct. I think the loudest voices on these platforms, even what you call traditional media, are usually voices that are negative voices because the algorithm loves it, even though linear television doesn't have an algorithm, but it actually does. Because many of those traditional media outlets that are so-called respected outlets, they're trying to get the clicks too. So I say things like the State of the People Power Tour gives you a chance to do your own research, engage yourself. Because if you're depending on other people to teach you things and give you messaging, you're in trouble. Specifically in this climate, they're getting rid of education. They're trying to sue outlets like NPR. It's just a hot mess. How are you going to what's real and what's fake? Individuals like this, individuals on the ground, and particularly artists. That's why I love the panel Arts as Activism, because when you look at artists, you look at people who are visual artists, you look at filmmakers, we change things. Look at what happened when Ava DuVernay did that film about the Central Park Five. Look what happened when people did that film about R. Kelly. He got arrested then. So the arts and activism piece goes together to move things and move that needle. So more importantly, when you're looking at people who make positive music, who make positive films and documentaries, who draw visual things, who do poetry that speaks to us, those are ways to get the facts and information. You don't have to just go on TikTok and look at it. And I say, look at other sources like Black media. I love, people can like or hate, but I love Roland Martin for that. And I love Doug for that. Every time I call Doug, he puts me on this platform. He says, let's do it. People like you amplify the voice and they can be trusted. So you can't necessarily say, this is one trusted resource. You need to look at several resources and then make your own decision. So that's why still doing these activations in person is also important, not just sitting around with the keyboard looking on social media, because, and then with AI coming, we don't even know if it's a person's voice. When you're in person at a thing like State of the People Power Tour, you see me there. You don't know if it's my voice or my photo. We've seen deep fakes. So that's what I say, seek these things out. Don't just sit comfortably at home on your computer. So seek out several sources, seek out events like this. It's free, y'all. And that's how you're going to learn what's going on. And then you can plug in as you see fit. And then you can teach teach one, as they say.
Yes, I will add, I do want folks to follow the Instagram of State of the People Power Tour.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that's real. That's trusted.
There you go. Giant Devon, I have
and
to
it's
ask
free.
you,
It's free, y'all. Free's a
Giant,
good price.
before we go, I have to ask you, as a journalist, what's your most difficult hurdle right now in covering not only Newark, our world, and when it comes to all the issues that we're talking about today?
Absolutely. I think that the biggest hurdle right now is that we live, I often say, in an Amazon 2-day microwavable society. Everything is click and bait, switch and turn, and people don't like to read full text. People don't like to read full caption. Everything is instant gratification. And so our minds, I feel, have been primed and conditioned not to dissect, not to critically think, not to comprehend, not to have discussions, uncomfortable conversations. And our leadership, Angela Rye, Tamika Mallory, said that this is about having the uncomfortable conversations, having the kitchen table talk out loud, because for far too long, I fear, we've been having those discussions underneath the table. It's time to come out and be bold and be proactive and to counteract the things that are going on in the ethos. We have power. Power is in the name of the tour. And I would be remiss, Douglas. We have these three beautiful Black women on this line, so many women, Angela Rye, Tamika Mallory, Joy Ann Reid, so on and so forth, Black women. But I want to say to the Black men, please show up. We need you. Our Black sisters have been holding the line for us throughout generations. History shows us. Black men, show up. You have a voice. We care about you. We know that you're hurting. We know that you're in pain. But if you come to this State of the People Power Tour, I promise you, this labor of love, you will walk away empowered and you will walk away with strategy to navigate whatever situation you are going through. And I would encourage everyone to watch. Go to our State of the People Instagram. Check out the video with Ray Lewis. I
Oh my
promise
God,
you,
that was so
you will
powerful.
see in real time. This is not performative.
No.
This is purpose
really
and this
good.
is action. So we invite you. We invite you. We have a space for you.
Yep, really good.
Essex County Commissioner Dorian Murray Thomas, I'm going to give you the last say today because you are talking to your constituents all the time. What do they want?
People want to be free. People want to be free, point blank, period. And every single day at the bus stops, at the kitchen tables, to the locker rooms, to the church pews, to the masjid halls, to the temples, they are working at their freedom.
Yes.
So when we come together next week, what we know is that this is a national tour, a national coalition of which Newark is a branch of a mighty tree of people across the country from now and beyond who've been working towards freedom. And so I'm so looking forward to this space where we can come together in our joy and our laughter and our lament, even in our tears, because there's probably going to be some tears.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Come on. Because getting the freedom ain't free. Getting
It's
free
not.
Free.
It's not.
free. But we know we're going to get there, Doug. We know we're going to get there together. And we certainly know we'll get there with intergenerational approaches, with young people at the center. I'd be remiss if I didn't remind folks that just a year ago, Newark made history and lowered our voting age to 16 years old for our ward elections. That's right.
That great?
That's right. And just these past few months, because of that ordinance, our young people, by the way, young people in my organization, She Wins, Gym Project, YMS, young people across the city and beyond will register over 2,000 folks to vote. And so we know that when we have all of our voices, our elders, our young, our in-between, everybody, in the fold, we get more free. And that's what we're looking forward to next week, not just next week, but even after, because it's not just a moment, it's a movement.
And we're not a monolith. We don't all have to agree. We can disagree and still have a healthy conversation.
Absolutely.
Folks are super sensitive these days and they go, no, we can come together collectively and we can have dialogue and not always be on the same page. Black folks are not a monolith. Please, let's understand that. Come on down. It's free.
Certainly
I
is.
was sales a few years ago.
The State of the People Power Tour comes to Newark and Symphony Hall. That's 1020 Broad Street in Newark on Tuesday, May 13th. And as you just heard from our great group of panelists here, it is free. I want to thank everyone for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Congratulations on the tour, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.